Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to the Undiluted Podcast. This is episode 142. This is a sports edition, and this is JP. We got Mike, and we got Clayton in the. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome back, man. This should be a fun episode. A lot of stuff to talk about, dive into.
Yeah, we have a lot to unpack, and we're gonna dive right into it by kicking it off with the Scottie Pippen topic. He has a book called Unguarded that recently released, and he's made a lot of controversial statements, and the ones that obviously rub a lot of people the wrong way are the ones in regards to the legend Michael Jordan. So, gentlemen, what's your thoughts?
I want to know where y'all are gonna go with this because y'all are the two Chicago guys. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna be nice to Scottie in this segment. So if y'all want to give him the honey before I give him the vinegar, I will let y'all go ahead. But I got some stuff to say about Scottie.
I'll start off by saying Scottie Pippen is one of the top 50 greatest players of all time, arguably the best small forward of all time in some people's opinion. Well, a lot of people have LeBron James there, but I mean, hey,
I was like, whose opinion?
Number 2 is great either way, but and then plus, hey, helped us get 6 championships here in Chicago. Great defender. Never forget that dunk on Patrick Ewing. Then when he told Spike Lee to sit his ass down. I love Scottie. Nice shoes too. That's all I gotta say. Future's wrong for how he did his wife, ex-wife. I'm done.
Mike?
I feel, man, Scottie just, just bitter, like he's not taking accountability for his stuff and like how his career and legacy is, and where he has a problem with it. I'm like, I don't think he becomes Scottie Pippen, the player that we know today, if it wasn't for Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan gave him the ultimate respect by saying, "You can't mention my name without mentioning him. He's the best teammate I ever had." So I don't understand what more do you want from a player that of Michael's caliber. What bigger compliment is that? So
He
I
gave
understand.
Scottie enough goddamn flowers for him to start a garden.
Yeah, so I don't understand why he's pissed. Like everything he did was, he's mad about his money situation. That ain't Mike's fault. He's mad about you not getting the respect that you feel that you should get as an all-time great player. And I mean, you got that. So I don't understand.
You got Instagram famous basketball players fucking his wife. So I mean, that's man.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna go there. I'm gonna leave that alone. But like, man, maybe he is pissed at that, So I just wish, you hate to see a Chicago legend, his legacy take a hit because, like, I don't know. I just don't understand where it's coming from. I really don't.
My biggest issue with things he said was way before this. Well, not way before, but I believe it was last year. Kind of accused Phil Jackson of being a racist over a play where he chose to utilize Tony Kukoc over him.
That was this year.
Play. That was this year?
Yeah, that was this year.
I feel like it was a long time ago he said that. Yeah, I'm like, racist? Like, that, man, that's extreme, like, to say over a play.
Yeah, I don't understand where Scottie been coming from with all this, man. It just seemed like it's an accountability issue there on his part, and he just pointing the finger at everybody else except for himself. And I'm like, but in my mind, like Clay, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like he's been given like the ultimate respect as a great player. So I don't understand where he feels disrespected at.
He's been given the respect that he's definitely been given the respect that he earned, and Michael's always been a good I never thought that him and Mike were like brother close, but I thought they were good friends. And Michael's been a good friend, and he's been a good teammate, like you said. Michael, first thing he said in his Hall of Fame speech, with my 6 championships, you always saw Scottie with me. He's the best teammate I ever had. When Michael Jordan was picking his top 5 starting 5 of all time, he had Pip. He could have chosen LeBron. He could have chosen Larry Bird. He could have chosen Dr. J, any of those other great small forwards. He chose Pippen. That he loves Scottie Pippen, but Scottie Pippen, with his recent reaction to The Last Dance and his recent comments, he's being who he's always been, which is Robin. Like, everybody's, when people were starting to say, well, Pippen was upset with how he was portrayed in The Last Dance. Okay. And look, I understand, like JP has alluded to a couple statements in, and there's also been some personal tragedy. I understand Scottie's been going through a lot personally, but this is also, a lot of this stuff is going back 20, 30 years. So, and Scottie is like, what is Scottie, 56 years old, I believe? So he's had decades to come to terms with these feelings. Okay, so my problem with Scottie's fallout from The Last Dance, he's allowed to feel however he wants to, but look at The Last Dance. Everybody's like, well, The Last Dance was made to make Jordan look like a superhero. Michael Jordan addressed the following controversies from his Bulls time during The Last Dance. In his own words, Michael Jordan addressed not being a social activist. He addressed Republicans buy sneakers too. He addressed, hey, was your retirement in '93 a secret suspension? He addressed, hey, what are you doing hanging around all these shady gambling people? Did your gambling potentially lead to your father's murder? He addressed Nick Anderson stealing the ball from him. He addressed his resentment towards Jerry Krause and the Bulls organization. He addressed a lot of the negative questions and controversies. He addressed being an asshole to his teammates, punching Steve Kerr, all of that. He didn't try to hide none of that. And you didn't have to come out of that liking him. A lot of people don't like Mike, but it is what it is. He addressed all of that, and he's being Michael Jordan. He's being quiet. He's doing his own business. He told his side of the story. Scottie Pippen got a fraction of that. What were the things that made Scottie look bad in The Last Dance? Was, okay, you signed a bad contract that you were told not to sign, and was told, I'm not going to renegotiate this with you. You were talked about asking out of the play in '94, which you said you would do again, and delaying foot surgery. So, because you didn't want to, quote, fuck up your summer. So that's 3 things. He got a fraction of that, and he's in his feelings about it. So he's reacting the way a co-star, an insecure sidekick would react. I mean, it is what it is. Like, this is who I've always thought Scottie Pippen is. This has always been my opinion on Scottie Pippen. When I was younger, I always thought Scottie Pippen was underrated. The all-around game, everything like that. And obviously his defense was never underrated. But in the recent 5 or 6 years, due to a fan base that we're not going to mention on this show, the popular thing has been to, hey, let's tear down Michael Jordan's legacy and let's elevate Scottie Pippen to a place where he doesn't belong. So Scottie Pippen's actually become very overrated in the past couple years. And, Scottie has an inflated sense of who he was as a player. Like I said I wasn't going to be nice to Scottie in this segment. Scottie Pippen recently said, well, Michael Jordan's flu game, is it easier to play with a bad back like Pippen did in '98, or is it easier to play with the flu? And I remember game 6 of '98 very well. Probably my favorite NBA game. Scottie Pippen had 8 points and 4 assists. Had he balled out, we would say, hey, Scottie Pippen had a great bad back game. He's acting like he was Isaiah Thomas with the sprained ankle. Like, And if you're going to compare anything to and in the flu game, Scottie Pippen was healthy, right? He went 4 of 13 in that game for 10 points. Michael Jordan had 38 points in a key game 5 with like 13 rebounds and like 8 or 9 assists. I'm just trying to basically remember those stats off the top of my head, including the game winner. Like, okay, wow. Yeah, Michael shouldn't have eaten that whole pizza and given himself food poisoning. But come on, Scottie. Like, Scottie, you were robbing. Like, to say that I was as great a player and everything, like come on, Mike, you're not Michael Jordan, and nobody else is, and that's not a shot. He's literally the greatest player in the history of the NBA. If Scottie's recent attempt in the media have been to diminish Jordan's legacy, then he's failed. Because the fact that Pippen went out with a bad back and scored 8 points, and Jordan scored 45, over half of his team's points in that game 6, including the game winner again to seal that 6th championship. Like Michael Jordan had the flu and did those stats that I mentioned: 38 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists on over 50% shooting in Utah. Okay, compare that to the migraine game. And I understand, I've had migraines before. They fucking suck. Scottie, you had 2 points when you were in your physical prime in the migraine game. Okay? And you can say, well, a migraine's going to hinder you. I agree. But I remember a guy in another sport named Terrell Davis who won a Super Bowl MVP with a migraine. So, like, what are we talking about here? And this is, I'm going around the places a little bit. Scottie Pippen, they said Scottie was upset, said the 94 season should not have been covered in The Last Dance because Jordan wasn't there. It was The Last Dance, anybody who watched that, it was a year-by-year thing building up to 98. So that was the first year without Jordan. It was just, and while Jordan was playing baseball, and everybody loves to bring up the 94 Bulls. They won 55 games without Jordan. They did, and they lost in the second round. And quite frankly, that team sucked in the fourth quarter of the playoffs if you actually go back and watch, because they didn't have a superstar to finish the job. Just saying. But yeah, I mean, it's like Scottie has an overinflated sense of himself, like with these comments. Like, I don't know if y'all saw this, but he said that the fact that he was chosen as a reserve in the 1990 All-Star game, for example, made him look like an inferior player. You know who the starter was in that All-Star game was Larry Bird, who played 75 games, averaged 24, 10, and 7. Scottie Pippen was behind guys like Charles Barkley, Dominique Wilkins, and Mark Aguirre. So, I mean, come on, Scottie. Like the 96 finals, where people say Gary Payton checked Michael Jordan, he held him to 27 points on 40% shooting. Look what Scottie was doing in that final. Scottie averaged 15 points on 35% shooting. Scottie, you're robbing. Like, Scottie Pippen is basically Kobe Bryant from the first Lakers championship if Kobe never got better as a player. Like, Shaq did carry Kobe for that first title, but Kobe became a partner for the second 2 titles. Pippen was just perpetually more or less Kobe from the first chip. I mean, it is what it is, and he doesn't have a game 4. Like, I could keep going, but y'all have any reaction to what I've said here?
I just feel like I said before, the thing that Scottie probably have to give Mike credit for is that he don't become an all-time great player without him. I mean, I think that's, more likely. The cause I don't think he becomes the Scottie Pippen, this great player, without Michael Jordan pushing him. So I mean, he got to really take that on the chin, and like, you play with the greatest player of all time. I mean,
yep.
I don't think I mean, I know that's probably tough with a person that has an ego like his, and we're starting to see that. But I'm like, dude, you got a lot. You mean you made the dream team, made all-star games, shit. Like, what else you want out of that deal?
Well, I guess we saw a bit of foreshadowing as far as the bitterness, because I can think back to when someone, I forgot who the analyst was, when they first started this LeBron James Michael Jordan comparison as far as the GOAT conversation. Scottie kind of took the time to bring attention to himself, like, well, I feel like LeBron James is more like me. Like, he didn't surpass me pretty much, he said. And as we know now here in the present, of course, LeBron James has surpassed Scottie Pippen.
Oh, yeah.
The writing was on the wall. And it's like his opinions started to like decline and go more towards him automatically saying Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time to him like saying a bit less of that.
He flip-flops depending on the day.
Except when Isaiah Thomas would say something, then he would come with smoke.
Yeah, I will say that hasn't changed. Like Scottie said, Isaiah tried to reach out to him after the last dance, and Scottie's like, why the fuck are you reaching out to me now? So I'm like, he's keeping the same energy there. But I mean, like, I agree with what, like, a lot of people say that with what Mike just said. I agree. Like, I don't believe in 96. Like, I don't know this for a fact. Obviously, they played most of their careers together. But based on the way Scottie was as a rookie and just kind of his trajectory, I don't think he makes that 50 greatest players in 96 without...
Not at all. It took him a while. It took him a while to develop into the player that we know. Like, and this ain't like a Kobe. Kobe went to the All-Star game. It's, I think, his second year in the league, coming off the bench. I mean, like, he wasn't playing like that on that level. It took him some time, man. Some time to get to where we know.
Because, Pippen likes to, say, oh, LeBron plays more like JP said, but like MJ averages more assists than Scottie Pippen. I don't know if people know that, but like, MJ's build is this selfish player, but he averages more assists than Scottie Pippen. It's by a fraction, but I'm just saying. But you look at 94, Pippen, I think Pippen is upset that he isn't kind of looked at as like Kobe Bryant. Like Kobe Bryant for that first title was the sidekick. He was robbing for the first title. But by the second two titles, Kobe had elevated to partner status. And I've already explained on this podcast the difference between a sidekick and a partnership. And Kobe elevated to partnership status. And Pippen, I think if Scottie Pippen was a sidekick like a Kevin McHale or a one of these other famous sidekicks in NBA history to a player that was still great but not quite as iconic, first of all, we might not even heard of the guy, but second of all, I think he would be a little less resentful. But the fact that Jordan was not only the greatest player, but he's this huge iconic figure. I've said before, Jordan was not a Mount Rushmore athlete. Jordan's a Mount Olympus athlete. Right, to be a sidekick to a guy like that while you have an ego like Scottie does, that's
he had a chance to get out of his shadow. Like, he would have to do what Kobe did, was win without Shaq, or he had to win without Mike, or to solidify whatever the hell he feels he had in comparison to with him. It's like, you had a chance. He had a chance to do that, and you just wet the bed, man.
Yeah, I mean, to that 94 series against the Knicks, the Bulls sucked in the fourth quarter, and Patrick Ewing thoroughly outplayed Pippen in the fourth quarters of those games. Like, I believe in the fourth quarters of those games, Scottie Pippen averaged 3 points on 20% shooting. In the fourth quarters of those games, Patrick Ewing averaged 8 points on 60% shooting. So, like, Pippen got outplayed by Ewing. And Pippen had 1 year where he was the unquestioned man, right? The 55-game season, the Bulls were playing every game at their hardest. Horace made the All-Star team. BJ made the All-Star team. Pippen third in MVP voting, All-Star game MVP. He was on it, right? And they didn't get the job done. They lost in double digits at home in the game 7. And the very next year, when the team was not doing as well, Pippen tried to force a trade. He even made up a rumor about Phoenix being interested. So, Scottie, he made up a rumor about Phoenix trading him. I haven't brought up a lot of this stuff because I do respect Scottie Pippen for what he did on the court. But all right, Scottie, you talk a lot. It forces us to re-examine your legacy. Like, Y'all remember a couple weeks ago before the NBA announced their 75 greatest players, Isaiah Thomas was saying, well, I was the only guy on the original 50 greatest players list that won back-to-back titles without a teammate. And I said to myself, well, yes, Isaiah, but like, why did you not win both finals MVPs? Like, why in the 89 finals with an old Kareem and an injured Magic, why was Joe Dumars a better player than you? So it forces you to go back and re-examine that kind of stuff, like when you draw attention to it. And, you know, I think a lot of this stuff the thing that really bothered me about these recent comments, though, is when Pippen says Jordan and I were never really close, and I couldn't bring it to myself to offer him condolences after his father died. Like, what is that about? Like, what is that? What the fuck is that? Yeah, he said that. I couldn't, and he said he regrets it, but like,
yeah, that was petty. I'm like, why would you bring that up? I rather you not even say nothing.
At this point, it's obvious that he's just trying to sell a book. With shit like that, like, bro, you're going too far.
Yeah, I mean, like, that to me is the only thing that really, like, all this other stuff I've been talking about, that's me examining Scottie as a player, and that's who I've always thought Pippen was. But like, when he said that, I'm just like, damn, you really just put that out there. Like, and I thought about
making it personal now. I'm like, all right, now, what did Mike really do to you, man? I really want to know.
He's trying too hard to sell that book, man.
Right, and Michael Jordan probably never even thought about it, like, because like 97, Michael Jordan bought Scottie Pippen a Ferrari because his dream car. He bought Scottie a red Ferrari because it was Scottie's dream car, and he was like, I appreciate you so much as a teammate. Michael's looked out for Scottie. According to Scottie, Michael told Scottie, don't go to Houston to play with Charles. He's not dead. Michael's always tried to look out for Scottie, and Scottie is just, you know, like I said, he's got Robin syndrome, man. It is what it is. Like, and this idea, and I just really thought the whole not offering condolences after the father, intentionally not offering condolences after the father thing was fucked up. Especially after all the time they had together, you can't even just say, man, I'm sorry about what happened. But like, okay, like this I'm just gonna go back to him as a player one last time. Okay. There's this idea that I've shut this down on the show before, that Scottie Pippen was like a top 5 player during the 90s or something like that. I just want to point out some things about Scottie Pippen here. Did you guys know that Scottie Pippen has more playoff games shooting 33% or less than he had regular season games scoring 30 points?
Did not know that.
I'm going to say that again. Scottie Pippen had more playoff games shooting his number 33% or less than he did regular season games scoring 30 points.
Damn.
Scottie Pippen had 50 playoff games where he shot 33% or less, and he scored 30 points 49 times. I'm just saying, like, Scottie's comments have elevated Jordan more to me, because I'm looking at Jordan like, okay, you was playing with this, you know, emotional ass dude who resented the fuck out of you more than we thought. Like, damn, this clearly makes Jordan the GOAT to me. And and this is where I'm going to finish up on Scottie as a player, okay? Unless we go to something else involving Scottie, like, you know, he's had his comments about Barkley and all these other guys in there. But this is where I'm going to finish up with Scottie as a player. And Scottie Pippen, if you want to say he was like the 11th or 10th best player of the 90s, I'm with you. But when it comes to the 90s, Scottie was not a top 5 player. From 88 to 91, Scottie did not qualify in any MVP voting. And amongst small forwards in his decades, 1992, Chris Mullin finished over Scottie Pippen in the MVP voting, 6th place to 9th place. And I'm only bringing up MVP voting because people love to bring up the fact that Scottie was 3rd place in 1994. So that's where I'm coming with this. 93, Dominique finished 5th in MVP voting. Scottie did not qualify. 94, as I just said, Pippen finished 3rd. 95, Pippen finished 7th, so he was the best amongst small forwards. in 94, 95, 96. 96, he finished 5th. Then in 97, he finished 3rd. He finished 11th in MVP voting, while Grant Hill finished 3rd. And in 98, Grant Hill finished 9th, while Scottie finished 10th. So it is what it is about Scottie. Scottie legacy as a player is what it is. I think he's accurately remembered as Robin. I think he's become a little bit overrated over the past few years. And like I said, I hope he finds peace in his personal life. I know he's been through some things and we sympathize with that. But Scottie, you've had decades to come to terms with some of these feelings. Again, like you're with this book, ironically, he's doing again what people have always accused him of. I would be impressed with this press run if he didn't mention Michael Jordan, like to a minimum. If he just said, hey, I grew up in Arkansas, here's my story, this is brothers, this is this. But with this book, he's doing what people have always accused him of doing, and that's basically riding off of Jordan's coattails again. Jordan just quiet, enjoying his billions of dollars. Jordan quiet.
With
So,
that being said, I'm gonna cap off my Scottie thoughts with saying I was gonna buy the book and support him, but it feels like the hype around it is surrounded by him hating on Michael Jordan, so I have no interest in reading it. And Scottie, you waited a bit too long to get in your Dick Grayson bag and try to transition from Robin to Nightwing, and you need to go sit the fuck down somewhere.
Yep. And he got his bag from Houston. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, Scottie should be happier in life than he is. He's an overachiever in life. Just by making it to the NBA, you're an overachiever, quite frankly, because of the statistics. He's a tall, good-looking guy with a great voice. He should be narrating movies. According to Madonna, he's got a huge one down there. Like, Scottie, come on, man. Like Scottie, come on. You're better than this.
After this dies down, I mean, we might not hear anything until it's either something Michael Jordan related or fuck around and hear LaMelo Ball is dating his ex-wife or some shit. So it's, man, I hate to see it, man, but it is what it is.
I mean, yeah.
He did have thoughts on Scottie.
He did have some sweet ass shoes though, like you said earlier. Those shoes were nice.
Oh yeah, I still might buy a pair of Scotties, but that book I'm not fucking with.
Mike, do you have anything else? Mike, you have anything else you wanted to say about Scottie?
Man, I just hate that he forces us to speak negative on him, man. And shouldn't be the case, and it's not due to a bias,
right,
towards MJ. It's just I really don't understand where it's coming from because it was so long ago.
Right. Could you imagine Klay Thompson coming out and saying some shit like this 30 years from now about Steph Curry? Like, nah, Klay seemed at peace. I just don't see any other co-star in NBA history acting this way, in my opinion. But it is what it is.
I don't want to mention a certain player, so I'll just move on.
There you go.
With that being said, Aaron Rodgers. Been seeing a lot of his name in the media lately, and that's because he ended up testing positive for COVID-19. Man, a lot of people came for him with the smoke. The whole mob mentality thing is going around with people coming down hard on those that refuse to get vaccinated. And like I said, I got the 2 fucking shots. You both have gotten the shots or whatever. Nobody's anti-vax or anything. Putting that disclaimer out there, whatever. Shove the needle up your ass if you want. If you don't, that's your choice. I don't give a fuck. So basically, Aaron Rodgers did research on the vaccines, and his reasons for not getting it is because he's actually allergic to one of the ingredients, and the most popular vaccine, which is the Pfizer, and he doesn't want to fuck with the Johnson & Johnson due to the blood clots incidents that occurred, and so I mean he has very reason for not getting it. It's not a political stance. It's not a him taking a Kyrie type of stance. So it is what it is. But people are coming down on him hard. There's people calling for him to be suspended. There's people calling for him to be kicked out of the league. Your thoughts on this whole Aaron Rodgers situation? And also, I want to point out too that what was it, Jay Williams that came at Stephen A's head like, "Oh, you not coming with the smoke for Aaron Rodgers like you did with Kyrie."
Yeah, and that was so entertaining for me. I like TK, you know, like shit, because he Jay said he was like it's like Stephen A, you got a point, but it's how you come at these players versus every other player that be having the same problem. So you yelling and screaming at Kyrie, calling him, man, you know, stupid or whatever. You know, it comes off as wrong how he be presenting it. So Jay called him out on that.
Well, my issue with that Jay Williams segment, like, yeah, I've been very critical of Jay Williams as an analyst, and he was right about Stephen A using a different tone for Kyrie and Aaron Rodgers, but Jay Williams, you know better than anybody else, like, you're going to be selectively. Stephen A is a huge fan of Aaron Rodgers. Stephen A has probably been the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan in the media. So, of course, he's not going to come at him with, like, the same. If Kyrie Irving had chosen the New York Knicks instead of the Nets, Stephen A. Smith would not have been coming at him with nearly the same energy. It is what it is. We know these media types are biased, and Stephen A. Smith loves Aaron Rodgers. So, yeah, he's going to be like, yeah, he's a liar and he should be suspended, but he's going to say it a different way. But, like, Jay Williams, like, you're the guy who walked off set when Max Kellerman said Kawhi Leonard was more clutch than Kobe. You wouldn't have done that if Max Kellerman would have said that. You wouldn't have walked off set if Max Kellerman would have said, hey, Kawhi Leonard is more clutch than Steph or Dame or some other player. So Jay Williams knows. Looks like we have somebody joining us, but Jay Williams knows about being biased in the media. So that segment rang very hollow to me. But this is Jay Williams. I've been critical of him as an analyst before. But as far as Aaron Rodgers himself, look, the dude was deceptive as hell. I mean, he, you know, I've been immunized. And then I love the Pat McAfee show, by the way. I look forward to the Aaron Rodgers interviews all the time on there. A shout out to Pat McAfee. That's my guy right there. But Aaron Rodgers, there was a few things that he said that I liked, but for the most part, he did not come off well in those interviews. As soon as he said, I consulted with Joe Rogan, I said, oh, fuck, here we go.
He should have elaborated on that one a bit more, because Joe Rogan does a great job of explaining why he goes about, you know, dealing with it the way he does. He absolutely, like, ethered a doctor, like, in a polite, respectful way. A doctor from CNN, he brought him on the show, and he absolutely beat that doctor in that debate involving the vaccine. So check that out if y'all haven't. Well,
I saw that interview. Like, Joe Rogan can be a smart guy, but as soon as Aaron Rodgers, like, all the talking he said, but as soon as he said the words, I consulted with my good Joe Rogan, I'm just like, oh fuck, that's not going to go over well.
Like, bro, and you gotta the words wisely, especially with a touchy subject like that.
And my thing about Aaron Rodgers is, I think I would have fined him a little bit more. Like, the NFL fines players more for, like, having their socks on wrong. So he should have been fined a little more. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, there's prominent unvaccinated players in the NFL who don't want to get the jab, and I'm fine with that, who they don't want to get the jab, but they follow the rules. Lamar Jackson, Kirk Cousins, I cannot remember the other guy's name, but, you know, Aaron Rodgers ain't the only player that doesn't have the jab. And the fact that he wasn't following the rules, I mean, like, bro, you wasn't following the rules. It is what it is. Like, am I going to give him a big shit show for it? I mean, no. I just don't. I mean, I respect his talent. I don't really pay that much attention to him outside of that. But it's just kind of like, all right, Aaron. I mean, you chose to break the rules. It is what it is. The Packers organization got fined as they should have. You were not wearing your mask with the reporters, and you were going to shake players' hands and everything like that after the game. And look, I look. It is what it is. Like, we don't have to go into the whole COVID debate, but I mean. Am I, like, upset at Aaron Rodgers? No, but they have rules in place. You broke them. All right. Well,
Hey,
sorry, tough, bro.
He cashed out me some Bitcoin, so he's okay with me.
Can I ask you a question, Clay? Can I ask you a question, Clay? So
yes.
if so my biggest thing is about that situation, do you think it's a privilege? And I'm not gonna say that because I know the type of show we're on right now. Do you think it's some type of slight privilege? Because this is just me. I don't know if it was said before I joined, but I just think if it was a Cam Newton, I think if it was a Lamar Jackson or somebody that would have pulled a situation like that, I think they would have made a bigger shit show about it. That's just my opinion, nobody else's, but I think, me personally, I think it may be privilege, if you ask me. What do you think about that?
I think if it was...
I think there's a popularity privilege.
Yes, that's why I say privilege instead of saying the racial thing, because, again, you're right, it's a popularity privilege. You said it perfectly, Jay.
I think if it was a Cam Newton, given what he's been through over the past couple of years, because it depends on the player. If it was a Cam Newton, depending how seeing as how the last couple of years have gone from him, it definitely would have been a bigger issue if it was a Cam Newton, because it's just like, bro, you're trying to. But if it was a Lamar Jackson, it probably would have been even less of a big deal. Like, Aaron Rodgers is the reigning MVP. He is considered a top 3 quarterback in the league. So
maybe of all time.
Yeah, I mean, he's up there. So, I mean, but if it was Aaron Rodgers, if it was Lamar Jackson over Aaron Rodgers, I actually think it would have been probably less of a deal, because I don't think Lamar, I don't think Lamar would have, first of all, he wouldn't have done the Pat McAfee interview, and I think he would have just owned up to it. So, I mean, look, Shannon Sharp and all these guys talk about how Aaron Rodgers is. I don't know Aaron personally. These guys interact with him, but the words you hear about Aaron Rodgers more than anything are arrogant, egotistical, smug, condescending, thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. So it's going to be a bigger deal with him. So, I mean, I just think with somebody like a Lamar Jackson, who is generally liked, but isn't like super duper 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 popular just yet, he will be. I think if this was him, I think, yeah, it would kind of be a deal, but then it wouldn't have even been a talking point. And Aaron Rodgers has the benefit of the fact that he made all this shit broke out later in the week. Then he did his interview on a Friday, and then the sports shows couldn't react to it the very next day on Saturday and Sunday. But yeah, that's my
honest though, man. If it was like Antonio Brown, they would have hung his ass.
Absolutely. I mean, it's Antonio Brown.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like it was privileged, man. Like, cause come on, man, I just can't. Nah, dog, I can't see that, man. Cause the thing about it is, long story short, when you see a person like an A-Rod, and this is why I say he's privileged, man. This dude, with all the shit that's going on, even though he was John Wick, he had the gun he had the gun at the Halloween party, and he could do basically whatever the fuck he wants. You know what I mean? And nobody's gonna say shit to him about it. It's a slap on the wrist. I just think that if if it was another quarterback that everybody might have had an issue with, they most definitely would have, or even a receiver or anybody or any star, they would have tried to make some type of embarrassment out of them or make an example out of them. Fuck around and fine them, suspend them for about 10 games, all type of stupid shit, man.
So let me give you an introduction. This is Coach Lee from the Illinois Vikings. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, man? Also, yeah, most definitely. I appreciate it. Yes,
but we've all worked in professional environments, and you know how it's the same thing applies no matter what level of the profession it is. I mean, a fuck up is more likely to be more penalized than somebody who's the bread and butter of the goddamn company.
Yep,
absolutely.
And Aaron Rodgers is, and the Packers, like, let's not forget, the Packers knew, and I'm guessing the NFL knew. So I mean, they're culpable in this as well. The Packers knew, and Packers got fined, but the NFL knew and the Packers knew. But like I said before, I mean, when you are an Aaron Rodgers to your organization, I mean, let's just on the organizational level and even on the league level. Like, yeah, they're going to look out for you. Like I said, I think if it would have been a Cam Newton, yeah, it would have been a bigger deal because, and we'll get to him later, but we see how his history has been in the league over the past couple of years. He's on a team, not on a team, in the league, not in the league. Lamar Jackson, given his personality, I think it would have even been less of a deal if anything come out. The only person with an anti-Rodgers personality where it would have been a bigger deal would have been if this was Tom Brady, right? If this was Tom Brady, oh my goodness, this would have been a total shit show. But like I said, when you're the bread and butter of your organization, when you are the man, I mean, like the old saying goes, you make exceptions for exceptional people, and exactly. Aaron Rodgers is an exceptional talent. He's the reigning MVP. He's a 3-time MVP. We know how gifted he is, and it is what it is. Like the organization is going to look out for their quarterback if he had taken a similar stance, if Brady had taken a similar stance, if Patrick Mahomes, even though they're not playing great this year, had taken a similar stance, like it just would have been what it was,
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Pat Mahomes' brother ain't shit, and he's a fucking douchebag. You go back to what you were saying, man.
Yeah.
I fucking hate him, bro.
I saw a meme yesterday, I think it was, it said the reason Patrick Mahomes ain't playing up to par is because he don't want his brother to embarrass him on TikTok.
Dude, I don't even like that dude's face. Like
the fucking shit show. He fucking danced on Sean Taylor's memorial, man. I don't want to get off subject, but he's a fucking douchebag. I don't give a fuck if you apologize, bro. You knew what the fucking intentions was, bro. They had a whole gate, like the little chain gate that you do for people when they pass. He actually hopped over the fucking gate and did that little weak ass dance, TikTok dance on that Sean Taylor number on the day of his retirement, man. Like I would have, dog. I ain't gonna lie, just disrespect. I cut his ass off if I was Pat Mahomes, man, because he's fucking embarrassing, bro, and his brand, dog. He most definitely is. I feel like he think he got the $100 million. You feel me? Like I hate it.
Yeah, the Sean. Yeah, I forget I even forgot about the Sean Taylor thing. That wasn't cool, man.
Yeah, that's just not cool at all, bro. Like he apologized about it, but I don't want to knock y'all off y'all subject, man. But yeah, but that
we actually get ready to segue into Newton topic.
Woo, we back. Superman.
So it's for me. All I have to say about it is nice to see him back with the Carolina Panthers. A lot of people say, "Oh, he's back where he started." What the fuck? But I mean, he never wanted to leave, and I'm sure the owner and the organization regrets letting him go after the shit show that occurred with them not being able to replace him at quarterback the way they would like. So,
yeah, he has. Have you ever saw Cam Newton's videography? He has his own channel. It's not actually podcasting, but he has a couple of visuals where he does cigar smoking, interviews people. He also got a couple of YouTube. His YouTube channel is pretty hot, and it's just showing him working, being a dad, the different shit that he's going through during the pandemic. It's pretty good if you're just asking. But Cam Newton actually put in a lot of work. He just recently posted a video in the Bahamas with Julio Jones. It was pretty dope. He was basically talking about, the things that he goes through and the things that he has to meditate on to keep himself focused and always being ready for his number to be called. And Carolina Panthers gave him that call. So it's going to be great to see.
I don't have too much to add. It was a shame how that whole thing ended in the first place and the way he's been bounced around just to kind of, like the Thanos thing, like with the Carolina Panthers, you couldn't live with your own failure. Where did it lead you? Right back to me. So it was just kind of like, but it's good to see. It is good. It's going to be good to see him back there.
Absolutely.
So something interesting about his return is that he turned down offers from the Houston Texans and the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, wow.
I can't blame him. The Seahawks one, he probably don't want to be. He just probably don't want to be a backup, right? Because when Russell Wilson comes back, that's pretty much a guarantee that he's going to be a backup. In the case of Carolina, that job's open. But Houston, I can't blame him for that one. That you look at what's happened with Deshaun Watson. You look how that organization has gone over the past couple of years. Like I blame him for that one, but it's going to be good to see. Right. Because, hey, Cam might be like, hey, y'all gonna hit me with some allegations next if I want to leave? Like, what's up with this?
Right.
But no, it's And hey, Denver, we'll whenever Deshaun gets out of there. If he gets out of there, send him our way. We'll take him. But in the case of Cam, I don't have too much to add. It's going to be good to see him in Carolina, where it all started, and I hope he has a good run. I mean, it's a league MVP shouldn't. I at least hope he can end his career somewhat on his terms. Like, not everybody gets the John Elway, send off of back-to-back rings or anything like that. But we want to see an MVP go out the right way,
Right.
and hopefully he has a good end to his career. And he's taken a lot of hits, a lot of damage, but he's worked on himself, he's worked on his game, he's gotten more mature. I wish him the best.
He the rumor is he might switch his jersey number to number 2, going back to his college number where he won the national championship at Auburn. Calling this time the second coming. So he might be switching his number to number 2, back to the Cam that we fell in love with at Auburn.
Right.
So that's going to be pretty dope. Also, they gave him a $10 million contract with $4.5 million guaranteed. So that's number of respect right there, man. Going from that New England Patriot, the veterans minimum, just 1 year, $1 million to $10 million guaranteed 4.5. That's all respect right there. Now the thing is, that's a 1-year deal. So no matter what, he checked. You know what I mean? Like, that's out of respect. So basically, this is a trial run, man. Let's see how this works to finish the season off. Let's put him on a 2-year deal because I know he's humble, and let's do what we need to do. And I know McCaffrey should be back in no time, and a couple of those guys, man, working with Cam. They interviewed who I was watching. I think Stephen A. Smith. I forgot who I was watching, but they was talking about how the locker room was excited to see Cam back in the building. Then they showed Cam Newton ride around on a damn dirt bike around the Pence facility. I'm back, smiling. You could just see the glow in him, like, hey, I'm back home. You could just see the glow, man. So it's going to be great to see.
Absolutely. But yeah, the Panthers are one of those teams that started off really hot. And quite frankly, what I'm, I didn't like that they added the 17th game, but what I'm liking about this NFL season right now, there's not a clear-cut number 1 team right now, just because everybody's had a bad loss and it's week 10, everybody's had a bad loss. Now we know who the good teams are, we know who the bad teams are, but it's just kind of like, like the Rams, a lot of people say the Rams, they just added Odell Beckham Jr. because that was just not working in Cleveland. I've enjoyed this. Let's enjoyed a lot.
Take a dive into that.
Yeah, I've enjoyed a lot of this deal, actually. Say that again. I'm sorry.
That's actually a pretty huge deal, Odell.
It is. If he's a semblance of the old Odell because he has taken a lot of hits, he's been injured a few times, so we don't know what he's going to look like. But you know what? We know that he's not going to be the only target on this team, and everything like that. So Matt Stafford, you have another weapon, Matt. Like, I know Matt Stafford's having fun. I know Matt Stafford's thinking to himself, "Damn, I should have left Detroit when Megatron did," because like, this motherfucker's talking about, they talking about me in the MVP conversation now. Holy shit, we might have been the Super Bowl. Fuck, I should have been. Like, Matt Stafford was basically kind of doing what Kevin Garnett was doing all those years in Minnesota. Like, I know KG says to himself, "Damn, I should have left for Boston in 2002 and gotten the fuck out of here." Because I know Matt Stafford is loving this. So yeah, and the Rams.
Let me ask y'all this: why do you think Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr. turned out to be a huge failure?
I think Baker wasn't a good quarterback.
No chemistry.
So
Baker's.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say quickly, Baker's compared to his peers, he's not great. Like, when you compare him to Lamar and Mahomes and the guys he's the same age range with, yeah, he looks average. He's a good quarterback, but him and Odell, the chemistry just wasn't there. And
Odell was injured too. So.
Yeah, Odell was injured. And you look at Baker, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. The narrative is he seems to work better with, like, less expectations and with like not having Odell on the field, where it's just like, okay, I can spread the ball a little bit more, and he's not as Odell conscious. So
But a lot of people don't understand is like the Cleveland Browns actually have a great run game, and the thing about it is Odell.
Yeah.
Hey, dog, you're not getting the fucking ball 100 times, dog. This shit is not nice, my boy. Like, me breaking down film on Baker Mayfield, even when he was in college. Look at Jalen Hurts. Same thing with him when they were at Oklahoma. These guys are spread quarterbacks, but understand they're designed to move the ball with everybody, not just one particular person. And don't get me wrong. I saw the video where Odell dad released where Odell was wide open 100 fucking times, and this guy just didn't throw him the ball, which is ridiculous. But you know, I can defend the Cleveland Browns on wins and losses. Hey, they don't play defense. These guys still got to play defense as well for the offense to produce at the same time. Also, running the ball helps as well to develop the pass. If you can't run the ball properly, you have to understand it's about getting first downs. Hey, I understand Odell, you open. And don't get me wrong, because see, with a quarterback, he has 3 seconds to throw the ball. Some of those passes that Odell wanted the ball thrown to him, fucking linebackers and DNs were in his face. Well, it's different because a lot of people can say, I can do this, I can do that at quarterback, until you actually do the job. That shit is not easy. It is not. And you just want to just focus on this one receiver, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. That's why you see rookies like Justin Fields. Justin Fields throw to everybody. You think, and I don't want to just throw off the subject, but I'm using him as a prime example. We know Allen Robinson in Chicago is our number one, but Mooney gets receptions. Goodwin gets receptions. Hell, every week is a new tight end scored a touchdown for the Bears that I don't even know their goddamn names because his quarterback is throwing the ball to everybody. We're not focusing on just Allen Robinson. We're throwing to everybody. So Odell, even though he's in LA, he still is going to have that. I want the ball. It's not going to work. Cooper Kupp, dog, lead the league in. I don't know if reception or receiver this year. You got Robert Woods. That's going to get money as well. Odell, you're going to be a 300-yard, 400-yard season receiver now over here with LA. You got to be a role player. If you're not a team player, Odell, this LA shit is not going to work for you.
Well, and I hope Odell has fun in LA because that seems like more the market for him. He chose to go there.
Absolutely.
So hopefully if he enjoys being a good football wide receiver living in Los Angeles, living that lifestyle, then I think he should be happy. I think he should be happy.
Well,
but going back,
that some people say that LeBron might have talked him into.
He did.
Yeah, maybe. But just going back to Baker for 1 second, I just want to say this about Baker. 2 things about Baker. One, if the Browns continue, if they don't make the playoffs this year, Baker gonna cost himself some money because he didn't get that extension. But second thing I want to say about Baker is, he was the number 1 pick. But you know, the same way that we talk about the offensive game in the NBA being so loaded now, where there's so many 20-point per game scores now because the rules allow it. And everything like that, I just want to say it's kind of the same with the quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, I think in 1990, Warren Moon was the only quarterback to throw for 4,000 yards. Now that's like commonplace. Like 3,000 yards is whatever. So, like, we don't. There's not a true gauge of who the best quarterbacks are right now. So it is possible that people kind of overrated Baker Mayfield and other quarterbacks, quite frankly, because when you're comparing it to like a couple years ago, Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, but also 30 interceptions. Like, this is just the state of quarterbacks in the NFL now. It's such a jumbled. There was one 4,000 yard thrower in the 1990 season. Last year there was like 16 or 17. That's the league now. So so it's a
spread league now. They don't run the ball like they used to back in the day.
Exactly. So it's just Baker's playing. You can only compare him, I guess, to his peers, to his youngest peers, to an extent, like the Lamar, Mahomes. Who else is Baker's age?
This is why Ryan Tannehill is so successful with Tennessee.
Tennessee is an interesting team. Like they're still number one in the conference.
But just
Derrick
like
Henry,
but the theory that you just said, that's the reason why Tennessee is where they are at now. Yeah,
Yep.
we know Tannehill can throw for 4,000, but when we get on
Yep.
goal line, we're not going fucking 5 wide. We're
Yep.
gonna run this motherfucker.
King Henry.
Still got coaches still doing the goddamn Pete Carroll. I don't
Yep.
get it.
Oh,
And wondering why they're losing games.
Derrick Henry, please get better soon. We miss you on the field. Please get better, Derrick Henry.
AP did a good job though.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson out there.
Yeah, he did. I was shocked to see that.
He had a couple of moves. It was
But yeah, I mean that's the surprise of the NFL season so far to me has been the Chiefs.
Yeah.
The Chiefs have been a disappointment. The Browns have been a disappointment. The Cowboys were. I know we the Broncos just put it down on them this past weekend, but the Cowboys before that were a nice little surprise there, and I wasn't expecting them to start off as well as they have. The Cardinals have been a surprise. It's been an interesting season. I'm enjoying the season.
Crazy.
Yes.
When J.J. Watt first went to Arizona Cardinals, I was like, what the fuck is he doing? But now I see why. It was a very smart move. Very smart move.
Either way, he's hurt as usual.
Oh, man. That's tough, man. That's tough. I get it, though, man. But
I'm glad to see Murray balling out, man, especially with so many people with doubts due to his height.
Yes.
He's going crazy.
Well, I've said this before about Kyler Murray. Like, he's obviously talented, but even his height has bothered me. You ever seen, if anybody's watched Kyler, go watch Kyler Murray scramble on the field. He looks like a little kid that's running from his parents' whooping, man. Like, I knew this dude was short at Oklahoma. I knew he was short at Oklahoma, but like on the NFL field, he looked short.
Yeah, he's
but
real
you know,
short.
he has been balling out, no question. He might get himself an MVP this year, either him, Brady, or Stafford, somebody. So that's up for grabs too. So, hey man, it's been a damn fun season so far, and I wasn't crazy about the 17th game, still not, but
Yeah.
I like how it's going so far. It's been a good season.
I'm a little confused. Me personally, only team that disappointed me, I know you saw my team is disappointing. I think the Raiders really disappointed me. It is not even the off the field issues. It's just with the pieces that they have and David Carr. Like, are you guys still gonna? I feel like Tom Brady. Like, you pick me over, you pick that motherfucker over me. Like, for real. Like, you still trusting David fucking Carr? Like, man, you deserve everything that happens to you guys. David Carr needs to get the hell out of that, dog. It ain't looking good.
Yeah, like I said, that AFC West has been a surprise. I'm happy to see my Broncos doing well in the division, but like look at how people was talking about Justin Herbert 3 weeks ago. Like, people saying, man, Justin Herbert might actually be the best young quarterback in football. Now he's been knocked down a few pegs. Like, these teams are having bad luck. Like, what the fuck? Like, Josh Allen was the runner-up, was the MVP favorite, and then they only put up 6 points against the Jags. Like, there's some of these games going on that these weeks make no sense in the NFL.
Last night, I played my FanDuel. Fucking Miami beats Baltimore. And
Yes.
They ran that cover 0 defense. Lamar Jackson got blitzed over 24 times last night.
That defense was on point.
Dog, this is the recipe to beat the Baltimore Ravens now. How you
I
shut
saw people like,
come on, dog.
I was at work, so I wasn't able to watch the game, but I saw so many people complaining about the Ravens versus Dolphins game. Like, what the fuck? Like, one person said, like, what would be better than watching this game? Like, getting ran over by a steamroller or hanging yourself. And I'm like, damn. And the score was like 3-6 for the most part. But then I see, I guess Miami had like an eruption or something, and they ended up scoring.
They benched Jacoby Brissett, and Tua Tagovailoa has a broke finger, and he came in with the broke finger and went off.
Well, I'm glad this game happened later, and Lamar, shut Stephen A. and all the haters up before this shit happened.
Like I said, I like Lamar, but like I said, this goes just to the depth of offense, the way the offense is played in the quarterback position. 1 week, you might say Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in football. Lamar, Justin Herbert, Brady, and you still got the old guys mixing there. Brady, Rodgers. Like, this is just
right now.
Russell Wilson, you know.
Yeah.
Like, Russell Wilson's never even gotten an MVP vote. That tells you how deep this quarterback thing is. Like, it's just it just is what it is, man. It's a different world right now in the quarterback position. Like,
I think Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers number one right now. From a Bills fan, unfortunately, I think he's number one.
But you know what? They might, play the politics card on that and make sure he doesn't get that MVP to represent them.
Because I'm looking.
He ain't winning no damn MVP. He calls himself the MVP. He ain't winning no damn MVP.
The politics card. You see how they did Kyrie. They at first they had him on that list for the all-time greats or whatever the fuck that list was called.
Yeah.
I don't think they did. I think that was just I saw that. I think that was just the Nets page like trying to push for it. I don't think Kyrie was ever on the 75 list. I think that's just something that people misunderstood. But
Kyrie didn't make that list. He didn't.
Yeah.
He should have been with some of the names on there. He should have been on there though.
No, but
I'm trying to see why Darius Miles didn't make it. No, I'm fucking with
fuck
you.
Out of here. Fuck, what kind of?
I'm fucking with y'all, man. I'm fucking with y'all, dog.
He's on that fucking fraud and health insurance list.
Yeah, he made that list. Shit.
But I don't know if y'all did a podcast episode on the NBA 75. I just wanted to say quickly, I haven't been able to say it on podcast form, but the fact that Dwight Howard was not on that 75 list is an embarrassment, and to me that's even worse than when they left Dominique off the 50 list in '96. Like, Dwight Howard is one of the 50 greatest players in basketball. He's not even a borderline 75 player. Like, Dwight Howard should have been on that list. So I know whatever reason he's unpopular in the league. I know a lot of people don't like him for whatever reason, but Dwight Howard should have been on that list easily. So
I thought him and Klay Thompson should have been on there.
For sure, most definitely.
I think what tarnished Dwight's legacy is that he transitioned into being a role player a bit too early.
And people made that case that if he would have retired in 2015, that he would have just made the list clearly. But I'm just like, well, yeah, but you don't just like all the All NBAs. The fact this guy was a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, the blocks leader, the rebound.
It's like you can't forget what he's done.
Right, like
just because he's on different teams. I mean, he did the work already.
He was the best player, averaging over 20 points per. There was a stretch where he was considered a top 3 player in the league. He was the leader of that Orlando team that consistently made deep playoff runs and made an NBA Finals, and lost to the best Finals version of Kobe Bryant. There's no shame in that, of course. And I mean, come on, man. Like, is it because Shaq has been picking on him for a decade and Kobe called him soft at one time? Is that why Dwight didn't make the list? Like, that just didn't make sense.
Blackball because of Kobe. No disrespect.
I mean, like, Dwight not making the 75 was an embarrassment. But that was just my issue on that. Outside of that, the NBA season's been damn good to me.
Yeah, the Bulls.
Especially watching the Bulls. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Y'all might have something. Y'all might have something there. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I want Lonzo to be a little more consistent, but y'all might have something there.
Most definitely.
And guess what? In the top 5 players that average the most scoring points right now, we got 2 of them: Zach LaVine and my boy DeMar DeRozan.
I went to the Brooklyn game last week, man, and I ain't gonna lie. I was out there. It seems whenever I go to a Brooklyn game, they lose. So I'm gonna stop going to Brooklyn games, man. But
why you root for them?
Man, I get you, but you ain't gonna stop you from watching my favorite player, Kevin Durant. But anyway, yeah. So the thing is, me watching Zach LaVine live. This is my first time ever experiencing the Bulls game and watching the new Bulls. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I'm gonna be on the podcast first. I'm gonna say is, I fucking laughed when the Bulls went and got Caruso. That boy Caruso is a dog. I'm gonna be honest. Caruso be out there balling. You know what I'm saying? When I see those guys and the way that they're playing ball, that the energy, the feel, just you could just tell the vibe is different when you touch the United Center now. I'm like, damn, I ain't felt no vibe like this since the Derrick Rose era. You know what I'm saying? Like, like these guys are playing ball. The young boy Ayo from Morgan Park High School, number 12, went to Illinois. Man, he in that joint balling. His whole high school was in there. It just gave you that Chicago feel. The great thing about the game, watching Lonzo, watching everybody has a backstory that's on that team right now. So it's like they're not playing because it's like they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. You would have thought that was a playoff style basketball game when they played Brooklyn. When Brooklyn was up and they dropped 42 points on them
in the fourth quarter.
In the fourth quarter, bro.
Yeah,
like it was amazing to see. Even Marcus Jordan, I know your ass here too.
Oh, he was secretly. Marcus was secretly at the Bulls game the other day.
Secretly at the Bulls game, cheering
that
up
motherfucker he had good seats.
Okay.
I'm like, nigga, you had damn near floor seats at the Bulls game.
At the Bulls game, for a person that don't like the Bulls, you had floor seats. So I'm just saying.
I saw your story, man.
So I'm just saying, the bandwagon trans just started.
Well, and I want to say this. I was talking to, I can't remember which game it was, but I talked to JP and I said, looking at the energy of the team and the crowd and everything like that, like this feel like the madhouse again. Like this feel like that United Center. So, like I said, y'all
I just want to say before you get to your take, they have like I was telling Torrance from the groups, they have some of the best chemistry that I've ever seen in basketball, period.
Yep.
They look like, I'll compare them.
They look playoff ready.
I'll say I would compare them offensively, how they look as far as chemistry, to back when Phoenix was in their prime with Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire and Sean Marion and all them, even though their defense sucked. So I can't compare them outright, but
I just pray nobody get hurt.
Or left ones,
I just pray nobody get hurt, man, because they can make a run with this group they got.
Well, Vucevic just caught COVID, I believe, so get well soon, bring your ass back.
They'll be all rolling.
But yeah, y'all might have something in Chicago. And as the Denver guy in this group, I just want to say Nikola Jokic, hip checking aside, this dude is fucking balling this year again. Like,
he's a monster.
He's leading us in every category. His PER is off the fucking charts, and there's no Jamal Murray again. He might be in position for another back-to-back MVP because not now. What people always said about him, well, the defense sucks. Dude is second in defensive rating this year. I know it's early, but
I'll be 1,000 if Jokic was black, and if even Vucevic was black, they would be stars right now.
Like. It might be. I think a lot of it is people just don't like the package of because he does play in Denver. I'll give you that it's not the biggest market, but yeah, it's kind of like this tall, Serbian, white, unathletic. And by the way, I just want to say the fact that people say, the back in the day, such and such would be like, dude, there's unathletic players that are great today, like Luka, and Steph's not the greatest athlete, but nonetheless.
But in a league that's dominantly black, it takes a while for the foreign players to get like as popular as they should be.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of people don't like the package of Joker because like he doesn't look like he could even jump over a credit card, but I love the guy, and he is balling this year, and
he looks like a manager at Rent Center.
He might be MVP again. Fuck around.
I would love to see that, and I hope we get I hope Jamal comes back, and I hope Porter Jr. gets it together because I think we can make a run as well. And that whole incident with Miami the other night, like I said, hey man, Morris, you decided to go first. Look at that hit, Morris.
Funny that you brought him up too, because like last year or the year before, I was hearing rumors that the Joker like hanging out in Chicago and shit. People started speculating like,
stop.
I swear.
He may like y'all's pizza, man. That boy, you can tell that boy like.
But Chicago is very diverse. We got like a lot of communities out here. So
they do.
Yeah, there's a lot of European communities out here. And Joker's he's Serbian or?
Yeah, he's from Serbia. Joker for Big View. Big View. Let's do it, baby.
So we got a nice Serbian community out here. But my only critique with the Bulls is that they need to step it up on the defensive side. Other than that, they're pretty cool. It's pretty solid.
But to their credit, on the positive side, Caruso coming off the bench averages the most steals in the entire NBA.
Yeah.
That boy's an animal on the hustle plays.
He's not just a meme. Like, I know he's a popular meme to say he's the GOAT and everything like that. I get that he's a popular.
He put in work to get the way
Caruso's
he's a solid. Yeah, he's a solid player. He plays hard every game. The effort.
And he can get up there too, man. Like when he gets them little highlight dunks, you can tell them dunks pop the crowd, man. Like he's
Stacey King be taking me fucking out. This dude Caruso will do some magical shit out of nowhere, like hit a buzzer beater. And he cut the AC up, Caruso. I'm like, oh shit.
Man, Stacey King something else, man. I used to love watching the Bulls telecast during the Derrick Rose. I was like, stop it! Stop when Derrick Rose was drunk. Stop it! You thought you could come outside and stop that?
The hot sauce.
But like I said, as far as the NBA season so far, I know it's really early. The Washington Wizards are the very pleasant, I guess, surprise this year.
How the fuck is Harrell number 6 as far as MVP predictions right now?
It's early, that's all. Early and got a good record.
Yeah, Wizards got a really good team.
I loved it though when he hit Schroeder with the moves. Then he told him, "You trash." I'm like, damn, y'all just playing with each other in the Lakers last. He told me, oh. But these NBA fights and feuds and shit, I'm glad to see some of that shit back because that Super Friends shit is slowly dying.
Well, I mean, now we want to see a Nuggets versus a Heat in the finals now. Like, I mean, go ahead.
I feel like bit off more than I could chew, man. Milwaukee Bucks look scary to me.
They look scared or scary?
They look very scary to me. And I felt like even though we was 1 foot away from putting them out last year, I think Brooklyn missed their beat on getting back to the finals. It ain't looking good because
Can we talk about the Nets real quick? I just want to say Kevin Durant is again balling this year. Right now he's my second MVP candidate behind Steph. My top 3 for MVP right now are Steph, Durant, and Joker. But the Nets, like, they got to win a chip for this thing to be considered a success. The first year Kyrie and Durant was both out during the bubble, we get that. Last year, injuries and Durant's foot being too damn big. Okay, we get that. But like, I love that the NBA has gotten rid of a lot of the foul baiting calls. James Harden's gonna have to figure something out because there's like, they already decided with James Harden, we ain't gonna send you to the line 25 times this game. Okay. So, and I'm damn happy to see that. Y'all know how I feel about James Harden. You know, I exaggerate a bit, yes. But like, I'm happy to see this motherfucker's not going to the line 20, 25 times a game anymore.
So that rule has crippled him a bit.
A bit, but like Trae Young's adapted fine, even though the Hawks aren't great. But like, I just want to say this, Brooklyn, it's not looking good because the fact that Kyrie is dependent on like, okay, he's chosen not to get the jab. That's cool. That's his choice. And the Nets decided, well, you're not going to be a part-time employee. Again, that's cool as well. But the fact that they're waiting on a potential new thing from potentially a new administration to come in and change that, that's not a good sign. And I just want to say this. First of all, Kevin Durant and Steph Curry both have an excellent chance to get into those top 10 all-time discussions this year. If Curry wins another MVP and the Warriors, let's say they win the chip, then him and Magic becomes a real conversation. And if Kevin Durant wins the scoring title and possibly the MVP, and then Brooklyn wins a chip under these circumstances, okay, now he's possibly a top 10 player. Now he gets into that top 10 conversation. So this can be a huge season for both their legacies and Giannis as well if he goes back to back. But Yeah, Brooklyn's gonna have to get it together for this thing not to be considered a bust. And I'm a huge Slim Reaper fan, but yeah, they need to get it together.
I have Golden State winning the championship. I have the Bulls making a deep run and possibly getting eliminated by maybe Milwaukee. And as far as the championship, I think it'll come down to Milwaukee versus Golden State.
Mike?
Mike, he stepped out of the room.
I think.
No, did he step out? Oh,
I
I
think.
didn't see him disappear.
Oh, my bad, y'all.
Leave your predictions for the NBA Finals.
NBA Finals. Ooh, Charlie Wale. Charlie Wale. I think the LA Lakers will make the finals.
I do too.
I think LeBron is, what do they like to say? Injured. He'll be back after the All-Star break when it matters. That's when he gonna really turn it up. He let Melo get his shine on, and I think the Lakers will be there. I would love to say Brooklyn. I would love to say Chicago. But
You leaning towards Milwaukee, ain't you?
it's gonna be Milwaukee, LA. And
I'm leaning towards that myself.
Yeah. Milwaukee.
I said before I do think the Lakers will make the finals. Now, if they don't, that's cool with me because it's some different blood is always. Even though Golden State wouldn't be different, I would, Steph Curry's my favorite or second favorite player in the league. I'd love to see him get another shot at the chip. If it's not the Nuggets, I'd love for it to be the Warriors. But it's obviously people, it's way too early in this NBA season. We understand that. But like I said, these are predictions that these are just our little observations so far. And I just got to say, I don't know what the hell's going on with Dame Lillard. But Dame, come on, man. Is the Dame time. It's like he blew his load in that 55-point game against us last year where it scared the shit out of me because this motherfucker was making half-court shots to keep sending it into overtime. And I'm like, motherfucker, will somebody stop? Austin Rivers even prayed when he missed a shot. Like he said, thank you, God. But it's like he did that, and then his teammate goes out of bounds, and Dame's like, fuck, I'm not going to say he's like actively campaigning to get out of Portland, but it's just kind of like that was part of the innuendo. So Dame, we'll see if he gets it together. Ben Simmons and Kyrie carried the offseason, the latter part of the offseason, but I don't miss them. Like as I love their talent, but like it's like, okay, the game goes on. And Ben Simmons, I'm not going to say what I really feel about this whole new mental health thing that's come up because I don't want to get JP or the podcast in trouble.
On another episode, that's what I want to talk about. I want to dive deep into that mental health is like a fetish right now in America.
Yeah, I don't. We can do that. I don't want to get my real thoughts on Ben Simmons right now because I don't want to get you or the podcast in trouble or anything like that. I don't want to get y'all flagged like 5 years down the line.
What I be saying, man. Most definitely.
But Ben Simmons, hey, look, man, I just like that's been a thing. 76ers is balling right now without him, so it's just like, hey, whatever, man. So, but I'm enjoying the start to the season so far. I really am.
Cool, and we missed a lot of things while we haven't been recording about sports over the past couple of weeks. Congratulations to the Atlanta Braves on winning the 2021 World Series.
Sir.
Not the biggest MLB fan. I don't know too much about Major League Baseball my damn self, but just, hey, it has to be mentioned. Congratulations.
And it had a lot of heat behind it, too. Like, everybody knows the Braves, there's been a lot of social discourse around sports recently, which will lead into our next topic and our next individual. But I just want to say the Braves, they had to deal with a lot. They had the World Series, they had the All-Star game taken away from Atlanta because of that shit. And it's just like, they moved it to a place with an even more restrictive voting law. And it hurt a lot of the black businesses that would have benefited from the All-Star game being there. So I'm like, who is you really doing this for? You say it was doing it for this and that, but you really hurt a lot of the black business. Like 30% of the businesses that would have benefited from the All-Star game being there was black. And so that cost the city a lot of money. And so, you know, the Braves and their fans, once the Braves started to get, because the Braves had a losing record during that point of the season. And once the Braves started to get good, they and their fans got a little more defiant, because it's like, well, now we want y'all to get rid of the tomahawk chop. So the Braves fans started doing it even more. And, you know, you had Trump at Game 4 doing it. You know, he gave them the little boost they needed to win that game. Shout out to my boy DZ. And he was doing that. And so they was doing the tomahawk chopping more. And, like, you know, one writer refused to call them the Braves in some news article. And then they go on. Right. And this is just where sports is heading. Like, this has been a bad energy in sports over the past 5 years, which has been led by an individual that we're going to finish talking about. But I was happy to see the Braves do it, you know. I mean, I have no stake in the Braves. I'm a Rockies fan and I'm a Yankees fan. Neither one of us got it done this year. I will thank the Astros for getting the Red Sox out of there. But yeah, I mean, I was happy to see the Braves do it just because I thought they endured a lot of bullshit, you know. So just shout out to the Braves for sure.
That's what's up. I'm happy for Atlanta. And
the curse is broken for Atlanta sports.
And plus, on the up and up as well, y'all got a superstar in the making of Trae Young. So,
yep,
that's up. What y'all guys want to close this out with?
I thought we were closing it out with the former 49ers quarterback. That's why I kept saying, "Hey, we're going to go into that in our next subject."
Okay. Well, Mike really wanted to talk about that topic, but
okay,
he had to leave, so we'll save that for another one.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I really didn't. Because you told me it was going to be a topic on the show, and I'm just
I have a lot to say, and I want him to be.
Man, I want
him to be able to, you know,
that might have to be
bounce off us with that one. So we'll come back to that one in the next sports episode. We'll definitely do another sports episode this week for 100% sure.
Hey, if I was you, I'd make that a whole episode, because that shit, yeah.
I'll never forget you and Petty Murphy bumped heads on the episode when me, you, and him, Clay, talked about Colin Kaepernick. He was getting like upset.
I remember. I remember.
Damn, you yelling and shit like what?
I owe that motherfucker like $100, man. Fucking Cowboy better than the Bears, man. I'm gonna give his ass goddamn it $1 million pennies.
Yeah. Well, anything y'all want to promote though before we get up out of here, man?
I will be back podcasting. I took a long ass break. I've been grinding, you know, since the COVID year. Lost a couple of family members, man, a couple of friends. I currently won my city and state championship with Illinois Vikings football program. We will be representing the state at regionals next weekend in St. Louis. If we win the Midwest region, we will be going to Florida to play for the Super Bowl. So it's a great experience. My shout out to Mario Anderson as my 14U coach. He's doing the same thing as well as me. 14U's undefeated. We're undefeated. We're both 12-0. We just try to bring a bunch of young individuals out of the city and, you know, bring them to some great upbringing, teach them how to collaboratively work with each other, and just, you know, put them in position to win, man. Because, you know, tomorrow is a promise to no one. You got to take advantage of the opportunities that you have while you're still here. And, you know, we got a lot of great things going on. Also, I want to shout you guys out, too, because when I first started podcasting, you know, Clay was one of the first person to hear my episode, and, you know, he put me on game of how things should sound or look at my school, because I'm a dean of students at the school that I work at. I'm opening up a podcast for the students. So I'm teaching them how to podcast through Anchor, and don't be surprised if you guys, I might need y'all to come do an episode with them. You know, I'm just trying to teach them the game and understand how things work, because they're real big on the Breakfast Club and things like that. So I'm trying to teach them the jewels too. Because the thing about it, if we knew this back when we were younger, there's no reason why you shouldn't be where you are at, you know, at today. Because I feel like if you got a cell phone, it's a lot of ways to make money.
Absolutely.
Oh,
The
yeah.
internet, yeah. As far as me, I agree with a lot of those same sentiments. The COVID, 2020 was a shit show for a number of reasons, and it was a good wake up call to truly start. I've always been driven, but sometimes, in this life we do get into the mentality of procrastinating sometimes and everything like that. But I've been grinding hard this year and going after what I want as well. And so, and as I think I told you, JP, and yeah, like I said, everybody knows I finally started taking acting classes to finally help with my goal of transitioning into being a film director. So I got a short film.
That's
Got a
awesome.
short film coming out later this year. I'll promote that when the time is right, and once I get it named and we get it shot and everything like that, scripts done and everything like that, it's going to be a really short film to shoot and edit, so that'll be fine. But so I got that coming out, and yeah, I mean, it like you said, tomorrow ain't promised. Like you gotta go after what it is, man. You have to. We don't like reincarnation. We don't even know what happens after we die. So go after what you want while you can, and do that. And yeah, like I said, I think this was a good episode today. It was good to get caught up on all this stuff. Scottie Pippen did not always guard the best player. That's another myth that I feel like I should shut down. But nonetheless, guys, chase what you want, man. Chase your dreams, and try and make your best to make things happen for yourself, guys. So yeah.
I got one last thing. Right now, we have something called Snap Raise. Snap Raise is a way you fundraise to help out with national competition. The Illinois Vikings, we do have a Snap Raise that we're trying to have to make sure we have enough funds, because we come from the inner city and everybody just don't have it. So we're trying to help out the kids that may not financially get themselves in position to travel out of town. If you guys would like to donate, I'll send JP the Snap Raise link, and he can post it up under his link as well. So if you guys want to donate, help out a good cause, just let us know, or you can look us up on IG, Instagram at Illini Vikings, ILLINIVIKINGS, and the link will be posted in the bio.
All right, that sounds awesome. Yes, sir.
And I just want to close out by saying the Undiluted Podcast will now be going forward, available also on YouTube finally. Ooh. So check us out on there, subscribe, and man, keep hitting that play button. Tell your friends, tell your buddies. I'm also about to work on get some merch together to sell, and man, just stay consistent, stay up, keep the faith, keep going. No matter what you got going on, people, man. And that's about it. Thanks for tuning in to episode 142.
Damn.
We'll be back with 143 and 144 before the week is over. Till next time, people. Peace.
Peace out. Yes, sir.